back to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is August 19th, 2016, and yes, we is back. It's been quite an interesting week in the terms of tech here. I've tried various different things, trying to get things to work. Nothing wanted to work. So I figured I dug through, and if you guys have not ever done this before, it's buried in a actually very reasonably placed place. However, is not named what it was back in the day, and for anybody who's like my age, which is creeping dangerously close to 40, but has had obviously computers in our lives for almost all of it, if not all of it. I think I didn't buy it obviously, but we got our first home PC when I was like 13. So I've had computers in my life for nearly the last 27 years, and I'm used to the way Windows is laid out in the sense of what they call their programs. Now, Windows 10, of course, designed to work across both, permanent, fixed locations, if you will, stuff like desktops and laptops, and, of course, on mobile devices and tablets and things like that. So they've renamed a bunch of the different things as apps, even though, obviously, on your desktop, they're not an app, they're a program. And so I found the voice recorder, which is what the old audio controller is called now. So I figured, well, I'll test it out. Works with this mic, and hopefully, well, if you're watching this, then the mic is in sync like it should be, because it was when I tested it. I can, I'll just take the place cards, the graphics for the box art, and I'll just talk underneath of it as I go through like each thing in like a Windows Explorer type of thing. And then I'll take it back and chop it all up, and I'll make it match the graphics by, timing out things in post-production, which was going to take, like, forever. It would work, and it's one of those things that the more you do it, the easier it gets kind of thing. And then I was going to film on the HD cam, because that was, this one. This is obviously the integrated one, although I've cranked the video quality up a notch. No, the update to Windows 10 broke that things entirely. It doesn't work anymore at all. I found out by doing some other testing by accident that actually it's not broken. It just, the program that it launches through is broken. The launcher doesn't work anymore. So I deleted it off the computer, thinking, well, I'll just do the old Windows trick of deleting things and then posting it back, and that'll work. Yeah, well, now my computer does not recognize that as being plugged into any of the 4 USB ports on it. Unless I'm in another program like this program, because you guys can't see it, but there's a big box around my preview screen here. I can make it work through the webcam controller that came with the Dell laptop. Or I can go into Windows Movie Maker and I can control it through there, but I can no longer control it independently. So, in the spirit of not taking this laptop and smashing it off of things, because it's not technically the laptop's problem, it's Windows, I dug around more. Mind you, this whole experience has taken like the last 4 hours of today, and found that I could take the build that Windows 10 is on and revert it to the previous build prior to the updates. And that's what we've done. I took it back a build level, and it was like, we'll let you know in the next build you can preview. I don't want to preview builds. I don't want to, there may have been a time in my life when I was all fancy-free about whether or not my computer worked or not, but yeah, that's not anymore, especially since I'm on a scheduled program where it's supposed to be out every weekend. I can't be previewing things to see maybe if they work or not. No, I want working versions of my software. Thank you, Microsoft. You can keep your previews to yourself. So, if you're watching this, obviously it worked. So, we have much to discuss. Much has happened in the last 2 weeks, although not a whole heck of a lot in the kit release realm, at least not overseas. You may recall when we last left you that Japan was on vacation. They're back, and they haven't done anything. For the most part, a bunch of kits have come out in Japan, but they're nothing that, is automotive related, or they're MPC kits from like 6 months ago. I know a lot of people will sit around and go, well, why can't we get this kit? It was promised us this month, and now it's 3 months late. Yeah, well, try managing getting everything 6 months later than it was supposed to be, like they do over there. Some some kit announcements. Let's go through this first before we go into like speculation and new stuff. Kit announcements. I don't think I mentioned this, so I'm going to mention it again. If I did mention it in a past video, and I just don't remember because the last 2 weeks have been nothing that I can wish to recall as far as the tech end of this program goes. Lindbergh, underneath the Lindbergh label, this was something that came out after the August release video, they're going to be reissuing the old Dodge A100 pickup truck, this time with new graphics for the Dodge Fever wheel standard. I think that's a real thing. I seem to remember seeing pictures of a real thing like that. Maybe it's not, but it's obviously just the same old IMC, pickup kit that it's always been, just with a refreshed graphics and decal set. And again, that's going to come out underneath the Lindbergh line, marketing thing that Round 2 has. Obviously, at this point, AMT, MPC, and Lindbergh are just names. They don't really, they're not real things anymore. They're just a box art. The September Aoshima reissues that we talked about that I said they had announced and I forgot to write down, they are a reissue of the 2013 Crown Athlete in that new model car boxing that just came out a few months ago. A reissue of the 2014 Nissan GTR Pure Edition, that is the JDM right-hand drive only, keep that in mind, version again in that new model car boxing. So clearly those two kits have already sold very, very well, if not out, in their new boxing, even though they're existing kits. And they're going to be reissued. They're going to be reissuing the photo etch for the Lamborghini Countach. Now, that's sort of a, drop my pen, a generic photo etch set where it'll fit any of the Countach kits. It's designed for the LP400, the original Countach kit, but parts and pieces of it will fit the later 5000 Quattrovols and all that stuff. They're going to reissue the Aventador photo etch, which again is sort of kind of a generic one. It's designed to work with a coupe. Some pieces will work with the 50th Anniversario and the Roadster, although the Roadster especially is a bunch of different stuff. I think they said somewhere along the lines of about 70% of that photo etch will still carry over. And they're going to reissue the photo etch for the Evo 10, the Evo X, which is cool. I don't have that, and I kind of want it for my final edition kit. And it's been a while since I've been around. It might be 2, 3, 4 years since the last time that the Evo was updated into its 2009 specifications, which happened, I think, in 2010 or 2011. That might have been the last time that photo etch was available. And that's all, of course, factory photo etch. And then they're going to be reissuing their 1972 Skyline Hardtop 2000 GTR. That, of course, the second-gen GTR. This one done up as the Japanese Grand Prix Racer, the number 72 car, which is really ironic or humorous to me anyway, because, of course, Aoshima is going to be reissuing the Liberty Walk tuner version dedicated to that car this month in August at some point, although, we'll see. Most of the August stuff in Japan has not come out yet. Won't be interested to see. It's going to be a busy week next week. And then they're also going to be reissuing the 1977 Skyline 4-door 2000 GTE. Similar to the kit I showed you guys in one of my recent acquisitions in the Japanese kit video. Fujimi also did a 2000 GTE 4-door. Both the second-gen GTR and this 2000 GTE are very undesirable to me, motorized toy chassis kind of kits. So know that going in if you're looking for either one of those. And then lastly, in the official dated kit announcements, for October, Hasegawa has announced that they will be running their Castrol liveried version of the Honda EK6 Civic. Now, that's the same Civic that just was reissued last month with the new race parts in the Jax livery. So this will be another version in the Castrol livery. Unfortunately, it does not come with the Yankee racing wheels, which is really what I'm looking for, is a version with that, because there are a number of decals that are going to be coming out of SK decals that require that other set of wheels that is not in the Jax or this Castrol kit, because they both have the same 5-spoke racing wheels. So keeping on there, Hasegawa. I'd like to see the Anki wheels come out, and then they're going to be reissuing another version of the Porsche 962C. This one's going to have the livery of Trust Greddy on it. Now, anybody who knows anything about Trust Greddy anymore, they are probably more prominently known these days, because obviously the Porsche 962C is from quite a while ago. Prominent these days for the Rocket Bunny kits that are taking over the world, the body over-fender body kits that were probably made most famous in scale by the Toyota 86 kit that Aoshima did, that of course comes with the over-fenders. Now there's already a version 2 of that Rocket Bunny kit that I believe Hobby Design and 8181 both did, and then there's a version 3 that is really just pushing the limits of taste as far as I'm concerned. If you've never seen a picture, to go Google Rocket Bunny version 3 Toyota 86. It's metallic green, like bass boat metallic green. You can't miss it kind of car. And it's just a combination of like a duck spoiler and a GT3 style spoiler. Go look it up. And that's going to be coming out of 8181 this fall. So obviously, Liberty Walk, they've got their over-fender stuff for the more expensive high-end car. They've got a GTR. They've got the 458 Italia. They've got a Venador and, whatnot. And then the Rocket Bunny Greddy guys have sort of been, your more, base level, Civics and the 86. And anyway, over-fenders have taken over the world, if you haven't noticed. They've sort of kind of tried to take over the scale world. There's a limit to what looks good. And then there's, of course, a large amount of people that are making them out of putty instead of ponying up for the resin parts. And yikes. This fad can pass. As soon as they give us the actual version 2 Rocket Bunny kit out of Aoshima that's supposed to have the supercharged version of the Boxer engine in it, which was teased many, many years ago, but as of yet has never actually shown up. Now, on to kit announcements and speculation of like current and upcoming things. We got out of BMAX this week several more photos of what are now the completed decals for their upcoming BMW M3 kit. This is the 1991 Deutschland winning car, driven by Steven Soper. I think it's Steven. God, if the name just did the wrong race car driver name, I'll never hear the end of it. But anyway, Soper, obviously the real last name. And this is coming together looking really nice. Obviously, you see here the spoiler, the front bumper, and the hood are separate. You'll hear a whole bunch of people complain that, well, if the hood's separate, why isn't there an engine inside? That's for further tooling variants. That's why the bumper's separate, and the spoiler's separate, and the hood is separate. Keeping all of those things as separate pieces allow them to tool up further variants of that kit without retooling an entirely new body shell, the way Revell does, and then makes you buy 2 kits to get 1 kit worth of parts. And while we're on BMAX, they also released this teaser photo. Whoops, that did what I wanted to do, and then I forgot it hit pause there. This is, at least on my end, it's no longer showing the BMAX overprint that's on there. I wonder if it'll show up on your guys then. Anyway, this is a mid-'80s, like 1985 or 1984 Audi Quattro, going to be done as, of course, a rally car. So, I'm not sure that's exactly the same kit. I think the Audi Quattro that Tamiya did way back in the day, that's an old motorized style kit, was an earlier, like an 83. But this will be another Group B rally car for those rally fans out there. Obviously, being a technical drawing the way it is there, and the fact that the Nissan is about to drop, the M3 is obviously coming out soon thereafter. There's the Brabham BT56B and the Toyota 11 that's all backed up in the system. That is a 2017 kit, probably like middle of 2000, if not end of 2017 kit. This is like 4 projects from now kind of thing. But it's interesting to see it announced and see everybody's reaction to it. And lastly, while we're speaking of Tamiya, Tamiya has officially announced, although not in any way that I can show you pictures of it, but it's in a bunch of different stock items now, that before the end of the year, and this will probably be, I want to say a November release, if I had to guess, might be Christmas time over here in the United States, that they will be doing a full detail kit of the 2016 Acura NSX. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Acura NSX. That is just a really superbly great-looking car, if you've never seen one in person. They're kind of hard to find because they just started producing them this summer. Basically, they're making them here in the United States. They're in a plant out in Marysville, Ohio, next to the place where they make all the Accords and the Civics, or the Accords and whatever they're building in Marysville at this point, because I think the Civics got moved to Indiana. Something got moved to Indiana because they built a brand new plant out there by Indianapolis. But at any rate, who makes what where is not the important part of this. Again, full detail kit. The U.S. retail pricing is going to be $53, which probably put it in the high 30s in Japan, especially with the yen being the way it is. You don't get that nice 25% discount just through the currency exchange. Right now, everything is pretty much the yen end cap is the price. Even with discounts, of 5, 10, 15%, it's still going to not be a cheap kit like the glory days of the last, year and a half or so while Japan was manipulating the currency. But that is very, very cool. Great to have it be a full detail kit, not a curbside. If you've never seen the real car, like I said, do yourself a favor and at least Google the images of the car before you go, meh. The Acura NSX was a really, really cool car in its day, back when it was first came out, because it was really the first Japanese supercar, their first attempt at that. And obviously the Lexus LFA came out, and there was a limited run of that. And you could argue the Nissan GTR also a supercar, but really in reality that is just a really fast grand touring car, sort of the way the Corvette is. The Corvette's a sports car. The Corvette is really, really fast. If you equip it with like the Z06 trim, you could argue it's supercar-ish. Sort of the way the Porsche 911 was in the 80s. Supercar-ish. That car did a lot of things really, really well, but that was because so many other cars didn't do anything well at all. But the Corvette really is a really, really fast grand touring car. It's, a car you can drive around every day and take over distances and stuff like that. And the same with the current R35 GTR. It's not a hypercar, the way a Lamborghini is, where you wouldn't want to drive it 500 miles for fear of wrecking it. Although GTR is pretty expensive, and so is a Corvette, but be that as it may, the NSX, back in the day was really something that had never been seen before, because while Japan had done sports cars, the Mazda Cosmo, and of course the thing we got here in the United States that was the sportiest of sports cars was the Toyota Supra. The Acura NSX was a legitimate, really, really fast, almost supercar-ish kind of car. And now this new car that they're building, that we're going to be getting this new kit of, is a hybrid gas-electric, much like the LaFerrari and the 918 and things like that. It's a twin-turbo V6 plus the hybrid electric engines give you 573 horsepower. 0 to 60 times of there went my neck, I can't feel my back anymore, and top end of 191 miles an hour. So it is definitely supercar territory. It's not hypercar, because at this point we've made cars so powerful and so fast that there's really another level to everything. Your Bugatti Veyron and all that stuff. It's not really a supercar anymore. It's more like they're a hypercar. But again, very cool to have that. Probably late fall. I would assume it'll be here before Christmas. And that'll give us 2 2/3 of a new kit on what should have been a military year as far as the way they usually do things. So I'll take it. The 2/3, by the way, is the FXXK, because it's based on the LaFerrari, but it's mostly a new kit. And of course, the MX-5 was the new kit. Now it's a year-to-year thing, because that would be December of last year to December this year. The only 2 automotive kits at this point in 2016 from Tamiya would be the reissue of the Martini Alfa Romeo 155 Ti DTM car and the FXXK. So, enough about things you can't have. What about things you could have? Well, all right, good. We've had a bunch of stuff here domestically, which is great, because there really wasn't that much stuff in Japan. Actually, you know what? Domestic guys, you sit there and you wait. You just hang on. We got to get these few Japanese kits out of the way, and then we're going to spend more time on the domestic stuff this week. So overseas in Japan, we had releases of several Fujimi kits and a couple of other things. Now, the Fujimi kits are 3 of the 5 things for the month of August, this being the old Nito Mitsuya Mazda Familia 323. What can you say about this? It's just a little Ocano box of a car with Ferrari with Lamborghini Countach style rims, except they're 4 holes instead of 6. But It's motorized. It's pretty junky. It's from the 80s. It's that era of Japanese kit. But, if you want a 323, what are you going to do? I guess you just pay the freight, so to speak. This has right-hand drive and left-hand drive, but only right-hand drive wipers. So you can build it with a U.S. dashboard, but you can't have the wipers on the right side, or the correct side, if you want to be that way about it. This is I believe, Nito-based Mazda Savannah SA22 CR or CRX7. This does not have the original wheels that this kit came from with Nito. These are, I want to say those are Longchamps, but they might be something else. This kit comes with those flares molded to the body, and you don't have an option to de-spoiler, de-front air dam, or over-fender this thing, because this kit was originally designed to replicate the 1977 24 Hours of Daytona race car. And then somewhere along the lines they decided, and Aoshima is guilty of this too, because they also have a kit of this that they got from Aimei. That's the exact same way. It comes with the over-fenders attached to it if you find one of the non-racing versions. They're all designed to be race cars. And then somebody was like, hey, we should stick some real seats in there and some treaded tires, and whoa, kit release without any work. And so this is what this is. It's a race car on street tires. It looks okay, I guess, but from the outside, the body, it doesn't look too terribly bad. And again, on 1980s tooling, but really, really, really motorized chassis and interior. It's, if you could find a way to put this body on something else, I don't know what else you would put it on, because the only other thing there is, other than the Aoshima kit, which is equally as bad and motorized, will be the old Monogram RX-7. Again, it's a shelf model in that sense, but, you're not going to be doing anything else with it, I don't think. Somebody prove me wrong on that. And this would be the last of the Fujimi reissues. This is the Toyota Cresta from 1991, the 2.5 GT twin turbo. Not that you would know any of that, because of course it's a curbside, and it's also a promo style curbside, meaning metal axles in front and back. This is way more akin to the Toyota Chaser and Toyota Cresta that they reissued about 8 or 10 months ago. That one was the next version of this kit as far as generational. It was a late 90s version. This is the early 90s version. I'm not sure which one was tooled first. They both share the same chassis, but at least it's not motorized, I guess. There's that. Aoshima's one reissue for this month so far is this, the Takehumi Fujiwara Sprinter Truno A86. I'm trying to talk too fast. Calm down. We're just going to take as long as we need to take. Anyway, this is, of course, the venerable engine insert Toyota Truno. This is the initial D, literal Volume 1 initial D kit. So this has just a late edition Truno 86 on Watanabe's, and that's it. No racing interior, no engine options, none of that stuff we talk about. The volume, the version 37, or the volume 37, I guess I should say. It doesn't have any of that. This is just a basic run of the mill Truno, of course, with the initial D tie-in. Hasegawa gave us the Egg Girl Summer Paint 2016 version of their Volkswagen Type 2 delivery van. I guess if you want to argue about which kit is better, it really depends on what you're looking for. This obviously is a curbside. It's all one piece and nothing opens. Revell of Germany's Type 2 delivery van, the one that's the Jägermeister van, obviously that builds up much like their Samba did, where it's multi-piece body and several things open about it and it's full detail. So it depends on what you're looking for. This kit, by the way, if you're just not aware that this exists in the first place, does come in a non-divorce box art. Because really, if your wife doesn't understand Japanese anime and the whole Hasegawa eggplane thing, she's just going to know you bought a model kit with a bunch of arguably underage bikini-clad schoolgirls on the box. And so is all of the decals. There is a giant bikini girl for the roof, by the way, if that interests you. But, you should probably know going in that, your wife may not be too understanding of that if you just show up with that. So there is, and it's about $3 cheaper because you're not paying for the all the graphics. There is just a flat standard version of that Type 2 panel van. So that takes us over here to the domestic side of things. And pretty much everything except that Lindbergh kit that we talked about at the very beginning of the episode is out. This right here is actually from July. It just showed up finally. This is the little gasser show rod here, molded in shell yellow. Got new tires up front that are actually brand new tires from what I understand, people who actually have purchased this. The rear tires also new, but they are patterned after the original kit's tires. The new ones are sort of just new tires. They aren't patterned after the original kit's tires so much. You get a brand new decal sheet with this. I've seen some complaints, or at least one complaint anyway, that it doesn't include the standard oil logos that it used to in the original thing, because I guess somebody's picking on AMT for saying it's an expanded original decal sheet. It's molded in shell yellow. I have not seen the decal sheet, but I'm assuming there's shell graphics involved with that shell yellow. And at this point, Standard Oil of Ohio was owned by Amoco, which was bought by BP, and you can't have British Petroleum and Royal Dutch Shell on the same decal sheet. I'm guessing that was not going to go. Somebody's licensing department was going to have a problem with that. So, even though it's got the red, white, and blue sort of tank painted like the Standard Oil thing, you don't get those Ohio decals in there. And then this is a Catch the Cat kit. Say that 3 times fast, which means that 1 out of every case is molded in metallic translucent red. Next, the Blazing Bison. Yes, this is the old Master Brew puller tractor. I almost called it a puller wagon. A puller tractor. Obviously, you got some new decals here because this doesn't have the Master Brew beer logos slathered all over it. But other than that, it's the original Master Brew kit. I think this is molded in orange or yellow, whatever that's supposed to be. I forgot to look at the bottom of the box when I was at my hobby shop the other day. Beyond that, you guys know what this is. This is, as pointed out by several people, a kit value destroying proposition here. I can't think of who posted it because it came up in my notifications. I saw your comment, so know that I'm talking about you, but I can't remember what your name is, and my phone's dead, so I can't pull YouTube up on it. Commented that pretty soon people were going to start picketing Round 2's front yard. And this is one of the reasons, because everybody who saved those kits thinking they were never going to come back out again, wrong. Now, obviously, you will need somebody, if you want to build this as a Master Brew, you will need somebody at some point. And I'm sure somebody will if enough, requests come in. I don't know who, I can't say, hey, go to this person. But somebody is going to remake the Master Brew decals for it so that it can have the beer logos again. On the truck side of things, the one AMT release there is the single-axle white Freightliner day cab. You've got some new decals in here. In addition to the CF, the Consolidated Freightways, and the Allied Van Lines, they've got all of the striping that you see underneath, say, the windshield and around the headlight area. That is going to be all new. That used to require you to paint it in the original one. In addition to that, you obviously are going to get, I was going to say, obviously going to get new decals. Not what I was going to say, though. What I meant was you're going to get the tanks and the front quarter fenders, which would be that little silver thing right there in front of the drive axle, are going to be chrome for the first time. Now, we talked about this on the August video as to whether or not I really cared about that, especially in this picture where the tanks are painted to match the cab. Having them be chromed just requires me to not dechrome them. I assume they're in 2 pieces like most truck fuel tanks are, so you'd have to dechrome them to fill the seam anyway. So I mean, it's cool for the beginning builder, somebody who doesn't want to have all that effort, or maybe doesn't have the skill, or isn't really worried about things like seams, because hey, you know what, it's your hobby, you enjoy it how you need to, although just don't crap on people when they say that would look better such and such. We're just trying to help you, not trying to be mean. To me, having them chromed is ineffective. The rear quarter fenders, that's cool to have in chrome, so long as there's some sort of something, whether it's a separate piece or molded to the top there, because the very top of a quarter fender should have a black rubber piece that will flex and keep the trailer off of that quarter fender when the trailer pitches weird, say going through like a parking lot that's uneven, or something as a pothole or something like that. Where are my pup trailers? That's the question, because obviously this kit was sold numerous times in a complete configuration of 2 trailers and 1 tractor. I think the most recent one would be, I mean, the trailers have been reissued some point in time beyond the original one, but I think the most recent time that this whole thing was issued as one big unit, it had Budweiser sponsorship in the like early 80s. Obviously, you're not going to get a Budweiser sponsorship again, but I would like to have the pup trailers back just because they're kind of cool. And if you're going to build a Consolidated Freightways truck, Consolidated Freightways, which doesn't exist anymore, that was pretty much only doubles. It has some, longer trailers for city pickup and deliveries, but their over-the-road stuff was all in doubles. And the last AMT kit so far that is out this month is the Malaise wagon. Yes, the 1977 AMC Pacer. This is kind of a interesting kit to have back, in the sense of these. You couldn't get people to buy these when they were out originally. I mean, you see people buying them now and saying this is great to have back, and it's cool to have back because first of all, it's a birth year car. I mean, I don't think AMT can release most of the 1977 kits because they were all changed. Obviously, the Volare was one of those, or the Volare was one of those 1977 kits originally that obviously is parked where it is now with the reissue from last month. But, cool to have back from 1977 just for that gag. This is 2-in-1. You can still build it with all the custom parts, and they've obviously tooled back a few pieces to get you back to having the stock version here. It's been issued as the custom version a couple of times since 1977, because 1978 was the Pacer X, which is a different kit, which was reissued. I don't know exactly when, but it's on shelves. It's been out for a while. Like I think it's before this show started, so it's more than 2 years old now. But you can build a 77 and a 78 Pacer and a 76 Gremlin. There's another Gremlin there too, right? A 75. There's so many AMC compact cars on hobby shelves right now. It is literally ridiculous. Nobody, like I said, you couldn't get people to buy these things originally. You people who were around back then talk about how these things were on clearance shelves for like $1 or $2, and nobody wanted to buy them. And now it's like the hottest thing ever. So, again, cool for me because obviously I was 0 when this kit came out and never had a chance to have one. I'd actually buy one at my local hobby shop. And then MPC has 2 kits out, and this will be all of MPC's kits for this month. This is the 1973 Mustang. You could build this as a 3-in-1, and it's obviously a custom or a drag or just factory stock. It has been tooled back to its 1973 annual origins. I'm not sure if that loses anything or gains anything as far as this kit goes, because I'm not sure what it was after that. I'd have to go dig it up, and I just frankly don't care enough. You guys who are old enough to remember this will know what it was after that. You get brand new decals here. There's 2 sets of tires, 3 sets of intakes. And remember, this is the MPC annual, not the AMT annual that was backdated to 71. So this is a completely different kit. Back when, obviously, when AMT and MPC were competing companies, and both did the same car. And then this is the Mack DM600 tractor, which was reissued 5 years ago, I want to say. Maybe less than that, but I want to say 5 years. Sounds right and feels right to me. It's been reissued because it has sold out and backed by popular demand, otherwise identical to its previous version as far as what's inside. All of Ravel's kits are out for this month, and they start with the Monogram Beer Wagon. Yes, it's the Tom Daniels show rod, street rod thing. Interesting that it is, again, the beer wagon and not whatever it was this most recent time. I can't think of what. I keep dropping things off my desk. Pardon me while I regain my composure. Vintage Monogram boxing here, so that's kind of cool to see. So we're going to, what is this, a 1926 Mack is what this is based off of, I want to say. It's just one of those things, you know me, guys. I'm not into the whole street rod things, so I've never built this, but, hey, it's got kegs for gas tanks. It's got, actual barrels of beer. I don't know. It looks like 2, so the song is almost over. But that's back out, and it's it's going to be the original configuration, obviously. The reissue of the '58 Impala is out again. It's a pretty decent kit from what I understand. I've never had one before. I picked this one up this week as well. This is based on a die cast, which is why the trunk and the hood open. But from what I understand from talking to a couple different people, it's a pretty good kit. I'm not really sure what the California wheels aspect is because, again, I've looked at mine and I don't see where there's anything other than the sort of stock spinner hubcaps on this thing. Obviously, I haven't cracked mine open yet to see what else is in there, but there's no mention of anything else in there. So this might be another one of these completely stock California wheels kits like the way the Beetle and the Mini Cooper were. And then this, which is actually a brand new tool, is the Fast and the Furious based 1970 Dodge Charger. This is definitely patterned after, but not the exact same kit as the 1968 and 1969 Dodge Chargers. It doesn't seem that Revell has the ability anymore to actually master things after their old kits. It may due to the fact that all that stuff was done in the United States and now this stuff is being done in China. It may be that they don't have the patterns for it anymore in the technical sense. It will of course in the early 90s the patterns wouldn't have been completely scanned and computerized in a CAD CAM system the way they design kits now, because the kits are still being designed in the United States. The tooling obviously takes place in China, and it looks like it'll be a cool kit eventually. I say eventually only because I don't want a Fast and the Furious car. The thing has a hole in the hood. It's got sort of a racing interior and big little drag tires and the big jacked up suspension in the back. I do want to point out how ridiculous, by the way, this roll cage is. I guess, assuming that Vin Diesel is about 4'5", maybe that'll protect him in a case of a rollover crash, like at the very end of the movie. But otherwise, Vin Diesel is dead because that roll cage is just barely higher than the seats. If you go Google any picture, just Google any picture of Vin Diesel Fast and the Furious, and you're gonna see that roll cage goes all the way to the roof because it's a roll cage. Somebody said that looks like it's the same roll cage out of the 68, 69. I don't feel like digging mine down to look, and I didn't buy the new one to know anyway. But that's just that's kind of comical. But beyond that, one of the cool things about this kit, and it's leading into why there is going to be a stock 1970 Dodge Charger here, is that the front grille is engraved with a Charger RT logo. The way the box art is, the RT part is painted flat black so that only the Charger part is showing, but if you look at the box art close enough, you can still see the RT engraving is there. There's enough stuff there. There's a center console, like a stock center console, but not the racing part that you actually use. So coming soon in 2017, obviously, there will be a factory stock version of that car. Mark my words. You look at this at minute 37:10 of the April 19th video. The Stash Report guy says there's a stock kit coming. I've also talked to numerous people who are way more in depth with Revell than I am, and they confirm that Ed Sexton, who obviously is the head of product development, has confirmed there also is a stock version of that kit coming. So while I don't want to crap on Revell's parade, so to speak, in the sense of selling this kit, because sales of things make new things come out, I will be passing on this because I really want the stock version. If you want a drag car that kind of sort of could be something else, there's that. You could, of course, if you're an impatient person, kit bash that kit with the 68 and 69s. Obviously the biggest thing about that kit is it has the regular sliding molds for the front and rear suspension. Front and rear suspension, obviously you don't get a stock rear suspension here. To fit with that whole pin system that Revell uses for their wheel attachment at this point, it doesn't have the steerable front suspension like the old 68 and 69 does. But beyond that, there's clearly going to be a regular Charger coming out of that. So, you start looking into the future, and you've got, the NSX, that's cool. A stock 70 Charger, that's something I've, me, guys, it's Japanese Kit Central here, race cars, blah, blah, blah. But when Revell, last time I saw Revell at a model show, the one thing that I put down on their wish list thing was a, 1970 Dodge Charger, because it's what we're missing. Missing Link did a resin trans kit, if you want to call it that, for the Revell kits by using the AMT body modified to fit the 69 chassis. But that isn't available anymore. It's also, it's just a resin kit. Nothing against Missing Link. Great resin caster, but it's resin. It's not plastic. It's, it's not a model kit. I just would rather have it in plastic. That's just me. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the show. We are, again, as I said, back The high def cam, we're going to have to work on to see if we can get it back up and running for kit reviews and stuff like that. But at least this appears to be working again. So hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys on the other side.